It was Saturday 16th of October 1920 and the people of Athlone were nervous. There was a sense of foreboding, a sense that violence was about to erupt. But what had caused these fears? Well, earlier that day, the auxiliaries had arrived. The auxiliaries, an elite unit of the Royal Irish Constabulary composed of ex-officers in the British Army, had a reputation for brutality, and now they were in Athlone. The Westmeath Independent described the scene.
On Saturday evening, auxiliaries arrived. Though the town was quiet up to 10 o'clock, the additions to the existing forces were not under rigid discipline. And on the part of the people, there was a restiveness, suggestive that normal conditions had been somehow disturbed, and that our quiet town had departed from its customary peaceful plane. People who enjoy the Saturday night promenades were unaccountably anxious and predisposed to seek the retirement of their homes. It was as well, in the circumstances they did so.
That night, Athlone suffered what the Westmeath Examiner called an outbreak of terrorism, when, before midnight, groups of uniformed men began firing weapons in the centre of the town. A few houses, such as the home of a well-known Republican, Sean Hurley, were raided. While these raids were in progress, there was a series of loud explosions on the Leinster side of the town. This was the sound of incendiary bombs being thrown into the premises of the Westmeath Independent and the Athlone printworks. When this attack had started, the building was occupied by only two people: Ellen Chapman, the wife of the paper's owner, and a maid. The two women fled the building, outside of which Chapman could see 12 armed men moving away from the burning. Chapman headed towards Church Street and the house of some of the paper's employees, but her progress was stopped by a party of British soldiers. She implored them to aid in quenching the fire, but the soldiers did nothing. Chapman returned to the printworks, where she could see that a quantity of printed matter that supplied the original flames had burnt itself out, although other sections of the ground floor remained ablaze. Chapman, along with her maid, whose name was not recorded in contemporary accounts, displayed remarkable determination by re-entering the printing works to fight the flames. Their task was aided by the fact that the attackers had not tampered with the building's water connection, and they were able to avail of a plentiful supply to quench the fire, although a substantial portion of the ground floor was damaged and 2 printing machines were destroyed. According to the Freeman's Journal, a major Dublin-based newspaper, petrol cans and portions of hand grenades were found about the works. Days after the attack, the Westmeath Independent editorialised.
In the early hours of Sunday morning, the premises of the Athlone printing works was attacked. There is no hesitation in believing by armed forces of the Crown, no matter what they may be called. Black and Tans, auxiliary police, it is all one. They are the armed forces of the British Crown in Ireland. At the time the attack was made, the streets were patrolled by the regular military. An armoured car was not far away, and the men who sought to set fire to and destroy these works had the protection and support of mighty England.
Prior to this, the paper added, relations between the people and the forces of the Crown of all grades were not unfriendly. The town's citizens had, and to quote, made it a subject of congratulation that Athlone was immune from the tragic happenings taking place elsewhere. All this good standing of long duration, the paper warned, had been swept away. The heroism of Ellen Chapman and her maid had saved the Westmeath Independent, yet, sadly, they had earned only a temporary respite, and 2 weeks later the auxiliaries would return, launching an even more devastating attack on the paper.